Hi, I am John with New Leads in Life. Work with New Leads in Life to have a new lease on life. Today I'm here to talk about what insurance agents need to leave behind in 2023. Leave these things in 2022. You don't need them anymore. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get straight into it. Now, the point of this video is to get you up to speed with what is working in 2023, what you should be focusing your time on, and what right now is just a complete waste of time, can be used if you absolutely need to use them, and where you should be focusing your time, energy, and resources into to see the absolute most out of your outreaching methods, right? So here's what we really need to focus on. Number one, first of all, there are some things that are totally useless, some things that you really only should use if you're in a pinch, and some things that you should replace them with, right? So there's the really good stuff, the stuff that'll work at the beginning that you kind of need to go through because you're a new agent and you're really new to this. And then there are the totally useless things that you should not be doing. It's a waste of time. Don't even bother with it, right? Let's start with those. The totally useless things that you need to leave behind in 2022, and quite frankly, you need to leave behind in 1997, are mailers, first of all. Done a video on this before in the past. Everything that mailers is supposed to do, lead generation ads do it better and cheaper, right? Mailers are supposed to go out to the people that you want to buy your insurance policy. Well, with Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, any advertising that you do on there, you have way more control over the actual people that are being delivered the mailer or the advertisement that you're sending them. So you have way more control over who actually gets your advertisement than you do with mailers, right? With mailers, you have absolutely no idea what your success rate is going to be, if people are receiving them, how, like, you only basically know your cost and then the responses that you get from it. That's it. So you can't make any changes because you're not getting any feedback at all on what's actually working and what's not, and you have to blindly guess to try to lower your costs. Well, with Meta and TikTok, you get absolute accountability down to the penny, down to the last view. You can sort by people who viewed your videos for 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 10 seconds, a minute. You can sort by people who've, seen your post on stories. You can sort by people who've seen your post in what country, what city, what state, what neighborhood. There's so much more that you have control over with advertising than you do with mailers, not to mention the general, very strict design templates that they have with mailers that you don't have with advertising. The whole bit, right? Mailers are useless. It makes no sense to spend $200 on mailers as opposed to spending $200 on ads. They do the exact same thing, and ads will generate you way more leads that are actually going to close. So leave that way behind. The second one that's totally useless that I still see some people doing are flyers and posters. And I just want to ask you a question. When is the last time you ever took action on anything that was on a flyer or poster? Like, let's just be honest with yourself. They're completely irrelevant, right? A lot of people are, quite frankly, not going outside as much as they should be. When they are, they're glued to their phones anyway, right? I can't remember the last time I ever stopped or bothered to look at a flyer or a poster in any building, on any street or lamp post ever, right? They're completely irrelevant, and quite frankly, it's just going to be a giant waste of your time. You're better off, for the time that it would take you to post flyers up around the community. You're way better off to just start knocking on doors and just getting your message across that way. It's better to do that. Like that's the thing, is it's like, again, it's not like these are totally useless in the sense that they will generate you absolutely zero results. They will. They're just impossible to scale, and you're just, for what you're doing, what you're spending your time or money on when it comes to mailers, flyers, or posters, you are a million times better off just doing one of these things instead. It'll take, for the exact same amount of time, exact same amount of money, you're going to get way more bang for your buck. Okay, So what are some of these other things, right? Well, what can we use if we're in a pinch? Cold outreaching. Now, cold outreaching works for insurance agents. Doing emails, doing calls, whatever it is, especially, I wouldn't even recommend emails as much as I would just say doing cold calls. I think that would be the way to go about it. Like, there's still a lot of people that are, especially captive agents, that are still utilizing cold calls because it does work. It can work. It's not that doesn't work. It's hard to scale. It's very mentally draining. It's not a fun job. It's not something that you want to be doing for a long time. But if you're in a pinch, if you know what you're doing over the phone, you just started as an independent agent, and you just need a couple clients to the door, I would recommend just hammering the phone as much as you can, because that's probably going to be one of the best places to do it. Community events, churches, trade shows, etc., right? These can work, all right? These can be okay. They're not totally unacceptable. However, I'm going to add a little bit of a caveat to that. If you're brand new to the area you're in, not very well known in your church, not very well known in the community, right? You don't have a whole lot of authority in your community. It's going to be tougher to get people to listen to you and to actually really care about anything that you kind of say. So you need to judge this with caution, because for the time that you might spend setting up an event, doing a presentation at your church, whatever it might be, you may end up just being better off to just do cold outreach, because if everyone's a stranger anyway, you're going to have to repitch them all over again because they just don't know who you are. So again, use this one with caution. If you're really popular in your community, like you do, you coach the kids' little league and you're always at the parent-teacher meetings and, people just know who you are within the community, then you're going to have a lot more success at this than, Joe Schmo who just moved in from, whatever town is right next to you. So that's something to keep in mind with community events. I think out of the three of these that I'm mentioning, this one's the least effective, unless you're one of those kind of few people who can really utilize this to its full advantage. And then door knocking. Now, I put some asterisks around this one because this really depends on a couple of different factors. Number one being the climate, and number two being your age, right? So door knocking in a pinch can work great. You're getting face-to-face in front of people. It's like cold calling, but it's more ballsy because you're actually stepping up to people, talking to them in person to their face about, what you're selling and what you have to offer them. And people tend to respect that. However, people do not enjoy it if they live in a cold climate, for example. I'm up in Canada. I'm up in a very, very cold city right now. There is snow all over. For you Americans, it's something like 6 degrees or something like that. Canadians, we're talking like minus 12, minus 14, somewhere around that kind of temperature range, Celsius. Very, very, very cold here. Now, with that being said, it's not something that you want to go around doing in the winter, knocking on people's doors. One, it's going to be absolutely miserable for you. And two, people don't want to open their doors and talk outside when it's super freaking freezing, right? So you need to keep in mind the climate. Don't go door knocking during a rainstorm. Sure, you might look kind of like, wow, okay, this kid's really out here grinding. But your success rate on it just isn't going to be very good because people don't want to come in or come outside in the middle of a rainstorm to talk to you getting soaking wet about insurance. They're not interested in that, right? As well as if you are older, or I should put age/health, because if you have some health conditions, you're a little bit older, it's harder for you to get around. Door knocking is not the way to go. It's not what you want to be doing. You want to be doing, I know a guy, I hopped on the phone with him. He was 57, still knocking on doors every day. So, we kind of helped him make some changes like, hey, man, is this really what you want to be doing for the next, 3-4 years here? Like, you're looking at retirement, having grandchildren, and you're still going out knocking on doors to try to sell insurance. So that's not what you want to be doing either. You need to move away from that. Okay, so pointing out the problems, that's easy. I've said this before. Anyone can kind of point out the problems, right? There's YouTube channels where all people do is they point out the problems. They never give solutions. Well, what do we replace these things with? What do we replace these things with? That is a fantastic question. So we replace these things with what I discussed in a recent video: attention, audience, and brand, right? So what we want to do is start gaining attention, posting short form content on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For those of you who saw the video that I put out going over all the views that I got, I ended up getting 100,000 organic views in 5 months simply from posting every single day on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. My post took less than 100 seconds to record and 3 minutes to post. So anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes a day I was actually spending posting on 3 platforms, and those 5 minutes a day generated me 100,000 organic views. Now, do you think that you would be able to get out of 100,000 views 10 clients? Do you think for every 10,000 eyeballs that you get in front of, you can sell one person? Because if you don't think you can convert 10,000 people seeing your message into one client, what are you doing in the space? What are you doing in insurance? If you can't convert 1 in 10,000 people who see you, you need to get out of here. You need to get out of insurance, right? So keep that in mind. That's a far better use of your time if you're able to do it consistently over time, build an audience, than going out and hanging posters and flyers over town. For the 3 hours that you'd spend doing that, record 3 hours of content. You're going to see more results from the content. You may not see the results, with a poster. You might spend 3 hours and then get 2 phone calls in the next week, right? You're probably not going to get that in the first week from doing content, but a couple months later, you're going to start getting inbound messages from people. Hey, I've been watching your content. I want to know about what you're offering, right? So building an audience, again, something that you need to be doing, preferably doing this through a Facebook group, right? So building a Facebook group, just a local group where you talk about insurance, you guide all your new followers to, you say, every single time somebody follows you on Instagram, shooting them a message saying, hey, just seeing that you had followed me and wanted to thank you for that. Are you interested in insurance? Do you have insurance? Yeah, I really am interested. Okay, let's hop on a phone call about it. No, I'm actually not interested. Yeah, no worries. Let's just join my Facebook group, and whenever you are, or whenever you have any questions, ask and I'll answer you. So that is what you need to be doing. You need to be spending your time posting short form content, using that short form content and the attention that you get from that to build an audience, preferably through a Facebook group. Can do this on Instagram as well. And then you need to start doing digital lead generation, right? Because what you need is to stop utilizing your time to source clients. You need to just be spending your time on the phone, in person, whatever it is that you do to actually close people. You need to be spending your time selling people insurance. If you are spending time looking for people to sell insurance, it's more time you're taking away from actually selling insurance. So in order to do that, you need a system that runs automatically for you, that generates you leads, generates you appointments in your calendar without actually having to spend any time or much time on it at all. And that's exactly what our exclusive lead system has been done to do for you. It's a done for you multi-dimensional lead generating process, generating leads for you on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram in the background while you work, no matter what time it is in the day. If you get a lead at 2 in the morning, we have lead nurturing processes that help you capture more conversions. So even if I fill a lead form out at 2 in the morning, I'm going to get sent an email within 5 minutes as well as a text with a time to book with you, a calendar link with you, so that I can then book with you, automatically post it in your calendar, so you can literally be generating leads and appointments in your sleep. It helps you to jumpstart this audience I was talking about on multiple different platforms. And the best part about our exclusive lead system is it's not something that you have to continue to pay for time and time again. We don't have a subscription model. We don't have a monthly retainer model where you keep paying us and engorging us with money. No, you pay for it once and then we hand it off to you once it's completed. Every single person who enters the exclusive lead system owns their system. They get to keep it. It is theirs. They have all the information, everything that they would possibly need to run it. So this is you, this is something that you're interested in, you're ready to take the step into digital lead generation, you realize that you need to be on the short form content game, you need to be having things that draw people to you, you need to be sourcing leads in a way that doesn't take your time like cold outreach, door knocking, community events, mailers, flyers, or posters do. You want to start leveraging your time to get on more sales calls, which is going to make you more money. Speak to me. You can do this by clicking the link in the description, joining our Facebook group, getting all the free resources we have. Or you can shoot me a DM on literally any social media. I'm on LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, as well as obviously YouTube here. My email is newleadsinlife@gmail.com. I would love to speak to you about the exclusive lead system and how we could get you started. Hope that this video was helpful to those of you who watched it. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.